Have you ever needed to have a direct conversation with someone and you were worried about how they were going to take it? Well, in this video, I'm going to share 2 secrets to help you have effective, hard conversations that leave the person that you're talking to leaving them motivated and inspired by you rather than deflated and resenting you. All right, welcome back. I'm going to give you a window into some recent training I've given with sales leaders on how to have effective, crucial conversations. Let's take a look.
Check it out. Here's a tip. Here's a tool. How to have effective, hard conversations that go right. You want to be soft like a brick. Soft, they have to know that you care. They have to know that you have their best interest at heart. When they know that you genuinely care about them, that gives a lot of grace for how sometimes we can be as human beings as we're trying to interact and challenge or coach, or teach, or correct when necessary. The brick is being willing to have the needed hard conversations. If you don't make corrections, when corrections are necessary, you're being selfish. If you have somebody on your team that you need to have a hard conversation with that you're not having, you're being selfish, and this is why. It's because we're too worried about being blamed by them for being and becoming the bad guy. Here's the secret ingredient if we're living gen shy. And if they feel it from, imagine if Megan needed to have a hard conversation with you, how receptive would you be to that? Automatically, right now. Very much, very receptive. Because why? You trust her, you know she cares. You know that she cares about you.
One word that's become so meaningful to me on what it takes to successfully lead. It's not a well-known word, it's called genshai. It's an ancient Hindi word that means to never treat another person in a manner that would make them feel small.
Yeah.
Including yourself. And I'm not talking about being soft and wimpy. I'm not talking about being a wimpy leader with them. In fact, the secret of genshai is the key to having real influence, having real conversations, when there's conflict, how do you help that conflict to move forward in a way that produces great results? A lesson I learned from a dear mentor of mine, Doug Johnson. I'll just never forget the gift he gave to me. So I was walking on a hall and it was at my church, and somebody was on the other side. I didn't know who it was, and I heard somebody talking, and then I heard my name. And I was walking, I was like, and they couldn't see me.
Right.
And I heard.
And it makes you stop and go, okay, what are they talking about? Yeah.
And I'm like about to be like, who's talking about me? And I'm like, and as I froze, I heard this voice saying, that Ben Ward. I would invest in stock in Ben Ward. And I was just like, what? Well, I mean, I'm just a punk 15-year-old kid.
Right,
actually, I didn't even know, I was trying to figure out who I was.
Right.
And to hear from another person that they believed in me, I didn't know it was Doug, but then I listened in and I was like, that's Doug Johnson. And I walked the other way. He didn't even know that I heard him.
Right.
And what started happening was, when Doug Johnson would show up to my baseball games in high school, I would play better. I would hit better.
Wow.
I would make less errors.
Yeah.
When Doug Johnson was in my presence, I became a better person. It's like what Gertu says. If you treat a man as he is, he'll stay as he is.
Yes.
But if you treat him as if he were what he could and ought to be, he'll become what he could and ought to become. Doug Johnson, he gave me that gift.
Yeah.
He gave me the gift of believing. He gave me the gift of genshai. He treated me big. He didn't treat me small. And in his presence, how did I show up? I showed up big.
But it starts with this foundation of genshai. So check this out. Doug Johnson, I got into a fight with one of the other kids, fist fight. His name's Jacob. And Doug Johnson heard about it. Do you think Doug was okay with that? No. And Doug came in like a bulldog, I'll never forget, Ben, what? Because I was the older kid. It was just this younger kid who was smaller. Who was like, I just, whatever reason we got into this fight, and he's like, you know better than this. And he just let me have it. This is the Doug Johnson that I knew believed in me. I knew he loved me. I knew he cared about me. He's the guy who'd show up to my baseball games. I'd play better. Like, what the heck was he even doing coming to my baseball games anyways? Like, he worked, but he made it a priority. This guy lived Gen Shy. How do you think, when it was time to have a hard conversation with me, how do you think I took it?
I mean, you probably took what he said with a lot of seriousness. And like, you probably felt like that internal, I don't know, like, not shame, but guilt. Like, dang, I let this guy down. He invested stock in me, and I'm just giving him losses.
Dude, exactly. And so his words, like, I didn't interpret his challenge to me as persecuting me.
Yeah.
I interpreted, because I knew he cared about me, I interpreted it as a challenge to me. Like, Ben, you've got to step up. You're better than this. So you want to be soft like a brick. This is how to have effective, hard conversations. The soft part is what we talked about, the Gen Shy. They have to believe, they have to know that you have their best interest at heart. We're intuitive beings. We can tell when we're being manipulated and somebody's pretending that they care, right? So you actually have to care. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to have the highest level of impact on that person if they don't know that you care about them. The brick part is having those fierce conversations. Even if we don't have the perfect words to say, once they know that you care about them, bro, any conversation you have, any challenging conversation that you have with them is exponentially gonna increase your effectiveness to actually penetrate their heart, penetrate them on the conversation that you need to have. Clear is kind. When we're clear, when we're willing to be clear, the key ingredient is they have to know that we care. The soft part of the brick. They have to know that we genuinely have their best interest at heart. And if we do, when it's time to provide that feedback that allows like fertile ground for them being receptive to what you're going to share, right? So like, you need to have a direct conversation. This is magic. You care enough about them to not leave them where they're at. Like, you care enough about them to challenge them directly. I have no doubt this conversation that Brandon's going to have at lunch is going to go great, because we know enough about Brandon to know that Brandon does freaking care. And you can't fake that.